Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Card Talk podcast where you spend just a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh.
And I've got a secret to tell you, I'm just along for the ride.
And I think that this show, I'm Ted Bannock, by the way, and I think that this show's been on the right path since day one, really. And we're going to continue that path with some really excellent card reviews, and I'm excited.
I tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, this is just, I guess, what we're becoming known for.
Just great.
You know how many people tune into the first 30 seconds of a podcast and then decide if they want to listen to it or not? And then, and this is what they hear. They hear us introducing ourselves, make puns on cards, and then they hear how we can stay connected.
Switch off.
Yeah, you know what? Forget you guys. I'm going to do all the how to stay connected at the end of this episode. Grant, go right into the card, buddy. Forget you.
Okay. We are going into the core set for Secret Paths, the one-cost lore event, which has quest action. Choose a location in the staging area. Until the end of the phase, that location does not contribute its threat.
Yep. Ted, tell me how awesome this card is.
It's pretty awesome.
Are you being serious when you say that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's great. Again, it's not it's sort of like a backup plan, right? Because it's like, oh, I want to just quest successfully, but sometimes there's a pretty good majority of quests in the game that just, when you're looking at, there's some locations in the game that have high threat. When you're looking at a 3-4 threat location, some scenarios even have a 5, and that's a lot. And sometimes those you might get a round of like all these locations, like all this threat that comes up, or even just high threat enemies combined with a high threat location. And Secret Paths will just make the difference between you questing successfully or not. And it can more so even get you out of the bind where you might become location locked, right? Because let's say you're down by 3 willpower, and what you need is 3 willpower to clear the active location. So you can move to a new active location and they don't pile up. It can just stop that whole cycle of location lock from happening by just questing successfully. I'll also point out too, if anyone are fans of Nightmare, there's some Nightmare locations that have as high as 10 threat.
Yeah, even from the very get-go in Journey Along the Anduin, there's that 10 threat thing.
So I play this card specifically to help against Nightmare, where there's consistently 3-4 threat locations. And early on, this is a one resource answer to those problems. So it's pretty cool. I'd say sometimes I find having 3 in the deck is too many. So I like having 2.
Okay. Why is 3 too many?
I don't know. I end up just
you end up staring at 3.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't need to play it that often. Or I just need to get one in my hand and play it once, early in the game. Of course, having more copies helps get you there. But I've just sort of found you can play around, experiment. Depends on the scenario too. Some are more location heavy than others, and then it gains more value. But I don't know. 2 seems to be the right number for me for how many I want to put in the deck.
Okay, Grant, I'm going to ask you a question. If I could spend 1 resource and get a boost of 1 willpower, is that not permanent, but just 1 willpower boost this turn? Is that worth it?
Depending on the situation, No.
Okay,
If
what
you
about where's that willpower cutoff? I'm cutting you off on purpose. So where's that? So if I could spend one resource and get 2 willpower, if I could spend one resource and get 3 willpower, like where is that? Where's that cutoff where it becomes mostly pretty good?
Like, what's the threshold?
Yeah,
Like a value?
I'd
Okay.
say I'd say about 2, maybe 3,
right.
for the cost of 1.
Yeah. And that's what this card is doing. It's pseudo questing. So if you can cancel 2 threat, 3 threat, I think it's doing its heavy lifting. And there's a case to be made that this could save a hero. Like, I can spend 1 and not commit Core Glorfindel to the quest. And why you'd be playing Core Glorfindel, I don't know. But he's the 3 threat. He's the 3 willpower lore hero in the core set. You know, if I could spend 1 and save Core Glorfindel from exhausting the quest, like, I think I do that because he's got great stats otherwise. You know, like, I think that there's a cutoff. Like, if you can cancel 3 threat, do it. You know, like, I think that that's a great thing. And that's why I asked you that question. Like, and you kind of agreed with me, like 2, 3 is the thing. If you can get 4, 5, 6, like what is it? The East Bite or the Brown? I always confuse them. The East Bite, the Brownlands. I think it's
the Brownlands.
Oh yeah, in the core set, the Brownlands is what 5?
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, like so. So go ahead, Grant. You do your thing, but I just wanted to. I wanted to put that out there.
Even looking at some of the other quests, you've got the Hunt for Gollum, the Old Ford, which is X's the number of allies in play. So if you're a multiplayer and you've got like 12 allies in
At the
play,
con, Ted and I played Hunt for Gollum, and that stupid thing was like 27 threat.
And it just like utterly destroyed us.
Yes, but we still ended up winning.
The type of thing, right? That's exactly the type of thing you want the Radagast Cunning, not the Radagast, Secret Paths for.
Right.
Radagast Cunning is
the same thing, but for
monsters,
enemies. For enemies,
which I think just isn't worth it. There's so many other better options. But we're not talking about that one. We're talking about Secret Paths. And there are so many locations that have high threat that you can target with Secret Paths, that running Secret Paths even at 2 is probably a good idea. Do I do it all the time? No, but that's generally down to because I know what quest I'm going to play.
Yeah,
it's a toolbox card. It doesn't go in every deck. It comes down to experience with the quests. But I've always got it in the back of my mind for that toolbox.
Yeah, I mean, this card, I think, I just really like this card. It's funny because, like, I played with it, and then I stopped playing with it, and then, you know what? It was the Woodman that came out. And when the Woodman came out, I started playing with this card again, and I was like, why don't I ever play with this card? And then, like, I just think that this card is really good. It's not a staple, you know, it's not like a card that you're going to play all the time, but this is that card that, you know, if you are light in questing, you know, which you could be, you know, like, put 2 copies of this thing in there and see what it does to your game. And you may be surprised that you may just need 1 run. It doesn't get rid of a location. It doesn't do anything fancy, but it may be just the thing that you need to get you over that hump, even on the early quests, Journey Along the Anduin, Passage through Mirkwood, all of those things. Okay, so Ted, tell us about the artwork of this thing.
It's very secret.
It's very
looking.
Secret. Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Yeah, man. It's so I always kind of, I guess it's mushrooms on the card, right? So it's like this dark forest tunnel path thing.
Yeah, it's definitely mushrooms.
and yeah, I guess the path looks kind of secret through the woods. It's just like some dark forest artwork. Like it's fine,
It looks
you
like
know.
a tunnel through the forest
This
because it's
is
got
Yeah,
trees.
this, this
yeah.
is a path beyond the flavor text is about beyond telling the dwarves this is a path they should be taking
Mhm. Stay
through
on the path.
Mirkwood.
Stay on the path.
Yeah,
Don't leave the path.
which the dwarves didn't do.
Right. It wouldn't be much of a story if they didn't leave the path. So the dwarves
Yeah.
stayed on the path and got to Erebor without any problems.
The end.
Without
The
running into the
right.
spawn of Mongolian.
and smog ate them.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, the white mushrooms were always kind of like oh, they're so luminescent and glowing. But yeah, it's kind of a neat trump through dark woods sort of thing. So
Yeah,
it's okay.
I like the art. I think it's
I'm not even the path that they've got to take.
It's a path that's secret. So it's it's
Yeah,
good
and they'll
enough.
get high on the mushrooms while they go.
Yeah, yeah.
Because mushrooms are
mushrooms.
magic.
Takes them back to the Shire. Some white luminescent mushrooms from Mirkwood.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
That's what he's going to give. That's what Bilbo's giving Lobelia for trying to steal his spoons.
Yeah, right. Well, should we ring this card?
yeah, I think so. Let's ring it up.
Okay. Well,
Let's check it out.
for anybody who doesn't know or may have forgotten, we have a highly scientific yet arbitrary way that we rank a card on a scale from 1 to 10. Where 1 is the one card to rule them all, and if you ring it a 10, it's a card that we throw back into the fiery chasm from whence it was made. So, let's see. I don't know if I've gone first since we've started recording this.
You know what, Dave? I think you should go first. It'll be
Okay.
kind of a secret treat.
Secret treat. Yes, and before I give my ring rating, let me just remind people that there's a couple ways to get a hold of us at the show here. Remember, I promised you I was going to do this at the end of the show, but now we've gotten to that point. So remember, there's the pod and there's both the audio and the video side of the pod. There's also Second Breakfast, which is Micah. Does playthroughs. He posts them on YouTube. And then Cat Attack 22 does amazing work over at the blog, cardtalk2018.com. And if you want to become a patron of the show, patreon.com/cardtalk2018. And for my Card Talk ring rating on Secret Paths, I am going to give this card a 4. It doesn't make it into a ton of decks, but it's always a card to consider when you need a little bit of like willpower, pseudo questing. It's just a good card from the core set. Grant, what's your take?
Well, I'm actually going to agree with you. It's a 4. And that's mainly out of, after the core set, there seemed to be a lot of locations that became immune to player card effects or cannot be targeted by effects, player effects. Now, they tuned that down a bit after they released the Woodman's collection, and even slightly before that, but I'm also going to give it a 4.
Okay. Teddy B?
It's just gonna be a 4 all around. I think you guys nailed it. It's this card has so many good targets like consistently throughout the entire game that make it worth deck space.
Yeah. It's just very good.
Yeah, it's like it's always gonna apply, right? It's like when is there not locations in a scenario?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. Tech Hills Lemon Mule.
Yeah. Emin Mule. There's too many in that one. Well, there you have it, everybody. That's our take on Secret Paths and a little bit change up, and in the middle we cut it out, but my daughter came in with a little bit of a haul from Ulta. So that was exciting. But join us again as we talk about more cards from the game next week, and we continue on with the core set. Have a great day, everybody.
Do you love the content? Here's what you can do to stay connected. Become a patron. The money collected through Patreon goes into keeping the lights on here at the podcast. We love our patrons, and you can join at many different levels. Visit patreon.com/cardtalk2018. You can subscribe to us, whether you're watching our YouTube channel or you're listening to us in your favorite podcatcher. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all our new episodes. Didn't know we were an audio podcast? Find us by searching Card Talk to get access to our 120 plus regular episodes. Didn't know we were a video channel? Find us by searching Card Talk LOTR LCG on YouTube. And there you can find not only our regular episodes, but you can find our bonus playthroughs and other content related to the game. Want to get a hold of Ted, Grant, or myself? Feel free to email the podcast at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.